Good evening and salutations, my Jays fans. You know, this Jason and Alexis scene, I'm very split about this scene. Because on one hand, it's actually pretty good. You get a real insight into Alexis, um, how she's feeling, her complexity with, really losing her daughter, talking about Cyrus being a killer, and how she wants him gone from this world, right? Balanced out by her belief in the law and why, and as much as she wants to do, as much as she wants to even just hand Jason the gun, she can't do it, right? So it's a great little monologue, and because Jason's like, I want to sit there and have this do going, I want to have this do done, right? But she does all that to sit there and explain why he shouldn't do it, and part of me feels like, as great as a scene as it was, it did a lot of circling to get to one point, and that's making Danny complicit in a sense. Because he kills Cyrus. That's gonna weigh on Danny. Danny's gonna be like, oh well, he killed that man because of me. He explains all the reasons why, and Sam's not here, so we gotta sit there and be the adults and make that decision for Danny. And I get where she's coming from. And the problem is that it went a half an hour till we got to that point. That's a very crucial point. And Jason's like, listen, I understand. And he sit there and say, I'm going to listen, but he seemed like he was going to listen. So, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how I feel. If I wake up on the wrong side of the bed, who knows? But the point is, he seems like he's going to take the advice of why just let the police handle it. But that's the part I'm very torn, because I'm like, it's a great scene, it's a great monologue scene and everything like that, and gives real testament to, I guess, I don't know, her beliefs in the law, as opposed to her revenge as a mother. But that's what I'm like, did it need to sit there and go all the way there to get to that crucial point? Now let's talk about Sonny, Ava, and Rick. So Sonny comes to the door. He's like, hey, listen, I want to sit there and make a proposal. Despite how I feel about you, our daughter loves you. He didn't want to sit there and say she's a good mom, but she's a good mom, right? He was like, let's go back to the original deal. And part of me was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, your place got firebombed. Avery could have been there. I know people say this, but she wasn't there. She was there. Doesn't matter. She could have been there. So part of me is like, I don't know if I'm good with that. I think for right now, she needs to be with Ava. You go find the person who did this, and I mean, no reality, does it really matter at this point? Because part of me wants to sit there and say, you go find the person that did this, and then what? What about the next person? What about the next person after that? And seriously, like, I don't think any, I damn sure don't, part of me is like, I don't think any kid should be around now. If we're going to be honest, I really don't. The guy lives a dangerous life, and he chose that life. And I think it's up to the mothers to sit there and do his best for their daughters. And I mean Carly too. If we're going to be honest, Donna should be nowhere near Sonny going to that damn house. No. We chose the life we chose. Sacrifices have to be made. So that's for Carly too. Rick is like, I don't like that idea. He's sweating, and he knows that I'm gonna sit there and take him out on the stand. And Rick is coming across like this is more about revenge for him and about doing what's best for his client. And I don't know. I guess his niece. It's more about sticking to Sonny. They go back and forth for a little bit, and at one point it was like, "Yo, chill." And she does sit there and make a point of Smith is saying, "Hey, listen, we tried that the last time. You trampled over it. What makes you think? What makes me think we're not going to do it again?" But ultimately, she decides we're going to do. At first, he was like 64. At first, he was like 60-40. I'm like, you must be out your damn mind. I was like, no, no. Those numbers are too far apart. Try that again. So he settles on 50-50. Rick is upset, and of course he just comes across like, "Oh, I want to sit there and take him out." And when Ava says something, he's like, "No, no, 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 no! I want to sit there and do what's best for you and your daughter." Yeah, it didn't really seem like that. But ultimately, she was saying she didn't want to even bring Christina to relive what happened on the stand and stuff like that. So ultimately, I guess because Ava had a human side to her, Rick was like, okay, fine. And then one thing led to the next, and, loving in the afternoon. Now, after Christina wasn't there talking to Lulu, which the story, it wasn't too interesting. The only thing I found interesting about it was when she said that Dante and Sam had an epic love story. I'm like, how about we try it again? Let's try it again. I give you, I got a better sentence for you. Let's see if this makes sense. How about you sit there and say, instead of Dante and Sam had an epic love story, how about you sit there and say, my brother and my sister had an epic love story? Well, that doesn't sound as good. Yeah, you know why? Because it sounds weird. It sounds weird because it is weird. When she said that, I was just like, did she just sit there and say that her brother and her sister had an epic love story? Hmm, okay. Yeah, while you tell that story, I'm gonna be sitting there looking at my phone. Yeah. Lulu's there, and she wants to sit there and say thank you and that she's sorry and everything. You know what Lulu should have also been doing? Being at her damn job is what Brooklyn was sitting there saying to Maxie, and Maxie's sitting there making excuses. Um, and then she finally realized, oh crap, I have work and I'm late. Well, you're not late. You're like you're way past late at this point. But she does finally get there. Lucy's there. Lucy was there, and Natalia was there, and they're all sitting there talking about deception stuff. And apparently, they need to get something that costs a lot of money or whatever. And here comes Jen Sitwell. Because Jen Sidwell, I'm gonna screw up his name, was with Lucas. Apparently, he got a tick off of him, and he wanted to make sure he was good. He's talking to Lucas for a little bit. And they talked about Windermere and how Lucas used to live there because apparently a Castellan married his mom way back in the day. Didn't know that. That's interesting. Who did she marry, by the way? If you know the answer, please let me know in the comment section. Anyway, they're talking, and he's talking about like making a place more homier, not less crypt keeper kind of vibe, and says that he's working with somebody for art gallery. Turns out it's Ava. So he's like, wow, really small world or whatever. But then he touches him on the shoulders and he's like, your bedside manner is really well. Thank you, I appreciate that. He walks off. And I can tell you right now, Lucas had a vibe. Like there was something not right about that. Not the whole, just his whole energy. You ever just been around somebody, you talk to somebody, you can just tell like, yeah, something ain't right. That's the vibe that he had. And of course, he finds out later from Isaiah that it's the dude that held him kidnapped and tried to get him killed. So just to kind of quickly summarize the stuff, Molly, the document that she had was Sam's autopsy, and she was like, "Oh, I want to sit there and try to see if I can use this to like help or something." 1 second. She wants to try to see if she can use it to find something or find the killer or something like that. And I'm kind of just like, so you got Sam's autopsy. How is that actually going to? I mean, are you a doctor? No, you're not a doctor. You're a lawyer. So what do you think you're actually going to find in that file at this point? I'm very confused. Anyway, they talk for a little bit. They go back and forth from being nice to being whatever. And then Cody's like, hey, listen, I'm just going to drop my pants. And hopefully somebody sees it. And of course, he has his long johns on. He throws it down. And of course, at this point, Lucas and Isaiah see it. They go upstairs. They finally see them. And, the door's unlocked. So, here's the thing. You saw their banter, their back and forth, Cody being the bad boy, Molly being the good girl. I feel like that's how it was at one point with TJ. Well, with TJ, the younger TJ, and Molly. Now history is repeating itself all over again. I mean, honestly, to tell you the truth, yeah, there was a point where TJ, as respectable and nice and proper and everything like that as he is now. No, he was definitely a bad boy. He was pickpocketing stuff at the Metro Court. Oh yeah, I go back that far. Um, So obviously they're trying to sit there and see what they can do with those two. And TJ is God knows where. Because, why bother to sit there and say where he's at? Is he taking a sabbatical? Taking a break? Climbing some mountains? You want to sit there and give us something? Anyway, Sitwell comes in the office while they're talking about deception and stuff. He's like, hey, Lucy. And he introduced himself. It's like, my name is, or Lucy introduced him. I don't remember. I think it was Sitwell. He's like, oh, I'm Jim Sitwell. And Lulu's like, oh, so you're the guy who kidnapped and tried to kill my brother, right? She started going in on him a little bit. Lucy, she ain't got time for that. Okay, she ain't got time for that. It's like, kidnapping what? Like, huh? I mean, all I'm sitting there saying right now from this man is dollars and a joystick. That's the only thing I'm sitting there saying from this guy. Like, what are you talking about? Let's stop all that nonsense. I mean, your lies and fallacy is like, get out. It's like, seriously, that's all she's sitting there thinking about. So Sitwell was like, you know what, listen, I didn't come here to sit there and cause a ruckus. And remember, he walked in. Natalia was like, suppose these walls are looking a little kind of, like she just looked everywhere else except for Sitwell. You can tell she was so nervous. She went outside and she was not there asking for a cigarette. Like, that's how perturbed she was. Anyway, he leaves. Brooklyn gets upset with him, Lulu. So they're saying, oh, I just couldn't wait or whatever. And Lucy's upset with him, upset with Lulu as well. I'm like, yo, did you not hear the words that he tried to kidnap, and kill my brother? And yet, all she's thinking about is, oh, we got this new line that needs some extra funding. Killer, what? What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Like, she's literally, and then she chases after him. And Maxie's like, yo, listen, I want to know who we're doing business with. Maxie's pretty much the only person. He knows two dimwits. It's like, yeah, I want to know who we're dealing with. And of course, Jen gets down there and he's like, oh, you want to sit there and tell your girl pals, your gal pals that we were married. Now, I wonder if he's going to sit there and drop another bomb on us by sitting there saying that he is um, Allison's Blaze father. That's what I'm waiting for. Oh, and then Sonny comes to sit there and see Christina, and he tells Christina, hey, listen, you don't have to go on the stand. Me and Ava settled it, and we're doing a 50-50 split. And of course, Christina's not happy because, and he calls her, it's like, okay, you're not happy because she gets to sit there and be with her daughter, and, Adela is, she unfortunately passed because, you're blaming Ava for it. So she's pissed off, and she's like, at one point, she's like, oh, I never thought my dad would sit there and take the easy way out. Here's the thing, she's so far in her grief that she even admits, I get it, you did what was best for Avery and everything like that. But, she also talks about how she's a bad mother. She's just going off at this point. And at this point, Sonny's like, listen, you can agree, you can disagree, whatever, but this is what's best for Avery. Um, Going through a long custody battle and everything like that. We've been doing that most of our lives. And the only person who pays for that is Avery. I'm just like, wasn't she going to therapy? I'm assuming she stopped going to therapy. That's it. I'm assuming she stopped going to therapy. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that therapy is a cure all, but like you can tell that she just stopped going. She just stopped going. Um, all right. I feel like that's much about it. I can't think of anything else. But if I miss anything, come to the live stream tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We'll be talking about all the shows across General Hospital, Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless. Even though Young and Restless today was a dumpster fire, but we'll talk about. I mean, if people want to talk about it today, I'm going to talk about yesterday's episode because since I didn't stream yesterday, I'm going to talk about that. And we can talk about anything else and why not as well, too. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.